Go live right now. So now we would be live.
Live.
This is kind of crazy, kind of cool, kind of scary, all at the same time.
Kind of crazy, kind of cool.
And scary, all at the same time.
Oh, scary too. I missed
Scary.
that.
Yeah, it's scary.
Ooh.
Good evening. Welcome to Monday Night DJNTV Live. Tonight, I have the one and only Ron Ruth. Now, Ron Ruth, you might remember him from such movies as the Back to the Future series. Yes, he was Doc in Back to the Future.
That was when I had hair.
Yeah, that was hair. He was the one who came up with the whole concept of going back in time. It's an incredible thing. And we have him here with us tonight. Good evening, Ron.
Good evening, John, man. Always exciting to be online with you and
just to hang and talk.
All day long. I was just, wow, I'm going to be on with John tonight.
We'll have some fun. It's going to be great.
I know. I'm so excited.
I think we've got things off. So tonight we're going to be talking about some concepts that you picked up at a seminar, workshop, what have you, that you went to a couple of weeks ago. So we'll kind of go over the workshop, a little bit of what it was, and then I want to dig in that, because after you and I had our first conversation, I've really been putting a lot of thought into this. So I think we can have some fun and a good discussion about that whole artistic side and how that works with what we do. Actually had a DJ call today, and we discussed it for about a half an hour or so. Should be kind of fun. Before we get to that, we're going to do our sponsor spots tonight. But before we get to the sponsor spots, Ron, what's going on in Ron Ruth's world here these days?
Whoa! Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm putting you on a spot.
Well, actually, I'm very excited because this weekend I'm going to be doing my niece's wedding, my grandniece's wedding.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Really exciting stuff. Uncle Ron doing that for gratis. Yeah, I have an uncle that's a DJ. But to be honest, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun because my family has never seen me perform. So
very cool.
Yeah, I know, a lot of pressure.
Very cool.
And then as soon as I get done doing that, well, in a couple of weeks after I get done doing that, I'm going to be going to Disneyland with my beautiful wife. So we're doing Disneyland this year in lieu of giving each other gifts, which when my wife suggested, do you want to go to Disneyland and not buy gifts? I went, yeah.
She knows you very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a no-brainer. I mean, but it's funny because then she came back this morning. My wife went out every year. She goes out and she buys like tons of toys for Tots. And so she morning bought a ton of toys for Tots, and I guess that got her into the shopping spirit. So she came home talking about I saw all these wonderful things that if we were buying gifts for each other that I'd want to get for you, and I would put on the list for you to get for me. And so I'm wondering how long this thing about not buying gifts is really going to last, because I have a feeling that it's not going to last long. I don't know. So.
And for those of you out there watching, you'll have to give us your feedback. Do you think that Ron should take the chance of going to Disney or being around Christmas empty-handed, or should he have something hidden in back?
I should probably have some stuff stashed so when we get back from Disneyland, I can go ahead and so we're going to do this after all. So. I can see what's going to happen, though. It's going to turn into one of these things where, well, let's only spend like maybe $50 on each other. And then $50 will grow into this and this and this and this. So, I don't care. I love my wife, and it'll be a lot of fun. And I love Christmas. Actually, I love this time of year. I'm waiting for Christmas music to start on the radio just so I can tune in. And I'm that guy. I'm sorry. I am. I love walking. We went to where'd we go? We went to Bath and Body Works the other day, and they have all their Christmas smells going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Walking in the door was like, oh my God, this is I want this smell in my house. Mm-hmm. So I spent a few bucks to try to replicate that smell in my house.
Did it work?
I don't know. I've started with my office. I got a candle over here that smells really, really good. So you smell it here.
Ah,
You know what we should do? You know what we should do, John? We should do a scratch and sniff video cast.
oh, that would be so.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That could be so nasty.
You jump and you scratch the screen and then put your nose down and you could smell.
Yeah, no, on
How
that
cool would that be?
we'll find a sponsor who will. Speaking of sponsors, let's do our sponsor spots for tonight, and then we'll be right back. And we're going to be talking about our topic tonight, which is bringing that artistic side to your performance.
Artistic.
Hits USA from RPM. Our name says it all. Get the latest hits while they're the hottest. With Top Hits USA, you'll have the track for sure. Visit tophitsusa.com or call 800-521-2537 and get a free demo.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
All right, those are the sponsors for the DJNTV shows this Monday night. If you're looking for audio gear, you're looking for, you know what to do. Go down into the description. Their links are there. Check out some of the new things from some of the companies. There's some great deals going on actually right now on some EV speakers. You can get some rebates right from EV, so go check that out. There's some really neat stuff.
And it's Christmas. You can buy all this stuff and give it as Christmas gifts.
Well, there's actually a magic little thing we're going to be doing, speaking of gifts, is we've got the 12 Days of Christmas coming up. And during that time, they could win some of the gear that we're talking about. Specifically, EV is going to be giving away some EKX speakers.
No way.
Yeah, so we've got EV speakers. I think we've got JBL speakers that are coming in on that. There's music. There's videos. There's some jackets. We're actually getting. We got the jackets in yesterday. We have. Gosh, I think we had like 50 jackets printed up we're going to be giving away. So, yeah, we got a lot of stuff.
You're like Santa Claus, man.
Exactly, except I shave once more than he does.
There you go.
Okay, let's get into tonight's topic. We're going to talk a little bit about what you experienced with a recent workshop. So kind of bring us up to speed of where you were and what that was all about.
Well, a few weeks ago, or just actually a couple of weeks ago, I guess now, I attended a workshop in Fort Lauderdale called Heroic Public Speaking, and it facilitated by Michael Port and his wife, Amy Port. And Michael, for those of you, the name may be familiar, he wrote the book, a book that I'm always telling people they need to read, and that is Book Yourself Solid, which came out a few years ago. And I think Michael was at the Shocking News Conference. 2007,
I want to say. But yeah, we had him up here shortly after Book Yourself Solid came out. We brought him up to one of our presentations.
Well, and to be honest, that book changed me as a business owner. I mean, it really did. I mean, yeah. I know it's, I never want to give too much credence to any one individual because I think that there's been a lot of influences in my life, but he was actually one of the most major, and it was over a very simple concept of what's called the red velvet rope. In other words, being more particular as to the people that you work with. Not working with people that are going to suck the life out of you, working with people that are going to make you as happy as you're going to make them. I mean, that's really kind of a simple concept, but it was not something that and actually disassociating yourself from people that are negative influences in your life. And after I read his book, I mean, I kind of cleaned the house. And that was really before Facebook came around. It was more like really personal relationships, people I knew, face-to-face relationships. That I said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. You're making me really unhappy. So anyway, he wrote that book. He's written actually several books. He's a best-selling author, but he's also a trainer when it comes to public speaking. And so the conference I attended was called Heroic Public Speaking. And again, it was in Florida. It was a 2.5-day conference. And it was what I would call very intensive. It started at 8 o'clock in the morning and it went through 6 o'clock each day. It was very much like being in high school, not from the standpoint of the curriculum, but in the way that you had a 45-minute class in this theater, and then you had 15 minutes to make it from that location to another location for another class. So it was basically you were just taking classes for 2 days. Michael's approach to public speaking is not much unlike what we do as DJs. It's all about performance. He looks at public speaking not as just somebody that gets up and speaks words. He looks at it as a performance art and treats it as a performance art and teaches it as a performance art. So when one of the most fascinating things to me, there were 2 days where people, they actually paid extra to do this, but on each day there was one person who went on stage in front of, I'm guessing there was something like 450, something like that, people there, but went on stage in front of 450 people and did maybe 5 minutes of a presentation. And then Michael and his wife, Amy, would critique it. They would take that 5 minutes. Critique isn't really the proper word. They would make it better. They would show how in just in that 5 minutes, you could take something that you thought was really, really good and do little things, especially with blocking, voice inflection, the way you would pause rather than just continually speaking, pause for effect, articulation, breathing. I mean, just so many little things that, I mean, Randy Bartlett would have loved this because it's like a 1% solution. But it was that hour of watching them do this, break down 5 minutes of a presentation and then put it all back together again. And just, I mean, difference of night and day was the most fascinating thing for me. And I would have gladly have paid more just to watch them do that with a lot, because I learned so much.
Right.
Just from watching that. It was I had spoke at Wedding MBA about 3 weeks before this, and I left that presentation I did at Wedding MBA was one where I left it going, I'm really happy with this. I mean, obviously never have I ever left any performance, whether it's as a DJ or as a speaker, saying that was awesome. I always leave feeling, I feel good or I feel bad about my performance. I felt good about the Wedding MBA performance, but after I went to Heroic Public Speaking Conference, I learned and sat through this 2.5 days, I'm going, man, I wish I had a Wayback Machine, because I would love to go back and fix all these little things that I wish I had done differently now.
Sure.
Good as I thought that was, man, it could have been so much better. And so it's made me more conscientious as a presenter and as a performer in how I'm going to be proceeding as I go on through what I hope will be a career that will also include public speaking.
So what kind of things, when you're talking at not only as a speaker but as a performer, a DJ, what kind of things were you able to relate or correlate to, moving from one area to the other?
Probably the most fast, well, not most fascinating. One of the things that was so easy to relate to was rehearsal. It was amazing to me that as many people, and I don't say this in a derogatory way, I really don't. It was amazing to me that as many people that I saw there that are into public speaking did not understand the concept or appreciate the concept, better words, did not appreciate the concept of rehearsing what they do. I mean, much like a DJ. I mean, and the fascinating thing about that is that one of the things that I never really thought about it before. There's a huge difference between practice and rehearsing.
Mm-hmm.
A great analogy would be when I was a kid growing up, I played trumpet. And one of the things, one of the deals my dad made with me, I started playing when I was like in second grade. And one of the deals my dad made with me was, okay, we're going to let you take lessons, but you have to practice every day for an hour a day. That's the trade-off for taking lessons. And so you learn how, how your lips should be, how your tonguing should be, how you hold, how you and you practice the notes that are sitting there in front of you. Whereas rehearsal is so much different. Rehearsal is taking something that, as an example, a script that you've written for grand entrances, and as you're rehearsing it, you're also listening to what you're saying, and you're changing it, you're fixing it, you're improving upon it, you're changing how you how you might move, or how you say particular words, or again going to that pause effect of using the power of pause to be more influential. So one of the things that was said in regards to rehearsal, and there was a whole class on rehearsal. One of the things that was said, and I found this kind of humorous because I immediately thought about the DJ industry, is that a lot of speakers have set a very low bar because they don't rehearse.
Yeah.
And the same thing's true with with some DJs. DJs don't rehearse what they do; they just do it.
Yep.
And it could be so much better if they would spend some time trying to hone their skill of being a better writer, being a better performer, being a better articulator. Articulator, is that a word? If it's not, it is now.
It is now. We'll get that. Articulator. Sounds like a pretty cool Pokemon character.
Yeah, the articulator. Actually, it kind of sounds like a Terminator kind of character.
Kind of does.
But yeah, I mean, it was fascinating. And the other thing is that Michael Port is very strict about you don't critique anybody. You come at it from a performer standpoint. In other words, nobody was ever asked. What did this individual do wrong? What we were asked was, what did this, what did you think of this? And gosh, I'm trying to find the words for it. But in other words, you would find positive things to say about the performance, but using that power, that positive comment to actually make them see how they can make it better. I don't know. That was kind of weird.
Interesting. So yeah, because typically, when we've had workshops like that, I've been to, it's like, okay, so what did you think? What did you think, and what could they do better? And well, you did this wrong, and you should have said that. And
well, yeah, and it was more like, what did you like about this?
Mm-hmm.
But they were the only ones that really, Michael and his wife are the only two that could actually. And they never really critiqued. They just showed how. It was really cool just watching them show how you could take something and make such incredible difference in just, like I said, just with a pause, with a dramatic pause on what you're saying, or just in the way you move from one side of the stage to the other side of the stage. When I go into Peter Mary and I did a wedding a couple weeks ago. Actually, he was working with me, and it was a tough room because staging was, it was tough to be able to make sure that how we staged that room, everybody could see the wedding party, and when the toast came up and the love story, how could we make all of this come together. And we devoted quite a bit of time before the first guest arrived looking at, okay, so how do we make sure that when we're doing the introductions, all of the guests can see the faces of the wedding couple, because of the of the wedding couple and
the party
people being introduced, because we're doing fun introductions. We want to be able to see the expressions on their face.
Yeah.
As an example, if you don't see the expression on your face, then a lot of the funny gets lost, because it may be something that's very specific to them, but just that reaction, it will make people laugh. So staging is not only important for what we do as DJs, but again, as a public speaker, it's equally important to make sure that it's like watching a theatrical performance unfold before your very eyes. So,
yeah.
And DJs would actually, I don't know, invest. It was fun because I got to give a shout out to the reason I went. Excuse me, my earpiece here. My ear itch. Now I can't get my earpiece back on. There we go. I got to give a shout out to Eric Herod, who I believe is from Virginia. Eric did. It was a lot like Mobile Beat in the fact that they had. He was the DJ that played music as people were arriving every morning, and he did the breaks and all that. So DJs represented. Liz Daly was there this year as another DJ. I was there last year. I know Peter went to this conference, and actually was one of the reasons why I decided I wanted to go as well. But yeah, I mean, DJs are being represented, but it'd be fun if we could get some more DJs maybe to go next time this thing comes up. It's a little pricey, but I guarantee it's the content is something that is extremely valuable as well.
Let's we got a couple more minutes here, Ron. To give a DJ, the guys out there, they're still trying to wrap their head around the difference between practice and rehearsal. Well, how would a practice look different for a DJ than a rehearsal for a DJ?
Practice for a DJ, essentially, I mean, just in the simplest terms, would be going through the motions. It would just mean, here are the written words, and I'm just going to read them as they are. It'd be like if you're at an event and somebody hands you a card and says, "I need you to read what's on this card."
Right.
Well, before you read it, you may take a minute and kind of read through it, and maybe kind of run through it real quickly in your mind. But you're not really going to have any time to rehearse it. You're just going to have to read what you got. So you practiced it. In other words, you practiced it so you wouldn't stumble over the words.
Right.
And so what you come up with is just basically delivering words. Where the difference is in rehearsal is that you're going to spend time with that card. You may go through it and change words. You may put in the word. In my scripts, I add words like pause. Sure. Or I'll underline something so I know that it's for emphasis, or whatever stage directions you might put on it, and then you actually rehearse it that way, and then after you've run through it that way, then you go back and you change it again, until you finally get it down to a point where it's something that you can do it without even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens. That's the difference between practice and rehearsal.
Cool. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I wanted to try to get that across a little bit more, because I think that's such a critical point in the success.
I would, it's, I know for me, and I'm assuming, I would encourage people that especially if you're doing personalized introduction. I mean, rehearsing would be, here's another great way of looking at rehearsing. Rehearsing is knowing how to pronounce somebody's name in an introduction. That is another great example of rehearsing, is making sure that you have that absolutely correct, so that when it comes time for you to say it, it's going to roll right off the lips.
Mm-hmm.
So
cool. Good stuff. So you enjoyed the workshop?
I did, and I'm hoping you're going to go next year, John.
Are you going to be looking at doing it again? Is it something
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm very excited about going again. Very, very, very excited. I'll tell you what, there's getting to be just a couple of conferences that are really grabbing my attention. And this particular workshop was one of them. Wedding MBA was another one of them. I'm getting, people are picking up their game. Mobile Beat is trying it as well. You have to pick up your game because it's so easy for people not to go to these things.
Yeah.
It's too easy for people not to go to these things because there's so much information available without having to attend. But the one thing that you cannot get out of going online and trying to find the information to look for is you cannot get the relationships that you're going to get by actually attending these conferences. As a matter of fact, there is we have a group of 4 of us that are, one of the things they encourage, and I'm a part of one. It's called an accountability group.
Right. Yeah.
And we just had our first meeting tonight. There's 4 of us, and what we did was we set our goals for the next 3 months, and we're going to hold ourselves, each other, accountable to making sure that we achieve the goals that we wish to achieve over the next few months.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of cool to have that type of camaraderie. I don't think that's something you can find in a traditional Facebook group.
Not so much, but I do definitely agree. When we go to the different conventions and such, there have been times where you meet with people and they become cheerleaders, supporters, accountability.
Mentors.
Mentors. It's all there because that's really about building those relationships. If you guys would like to get a hold of Ron and find out more information about this workshop, he's got links and such. You can email him at ronruth@discjockeynews.com. That will go right to him, so he can answer questions or you can ask him about what's the best food to eat there. And in just a couple of moments, we're going to have Mr. Jeremy Brech is going to be joining us here. So he just popped our screen kind of out of position for a second. So
he's got a round head.
Jeremy does.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, it's like he's and no neck. What is that?
No, the folks can't see.
Oh, okay, all right. So
yeah, they can't.
So it's just the human icon is what we're looking at.
Yep. That's what we see. You guys can't see that yet. So
now he disappeared. We embarrassed him. Now he's gone.
Yeah, we'll have him back in just a moment. So Ron, thank you very much for sharing some insight and such tonight. I think that's things that will be applicable.
I love hanging out with you, John.
Yeah, I enjoy having you on. It's good stuff as always. Gang, description down below has the links for the shows tonight. Go to show 2. Jeremy Brech will be back in about 3 minutes. Thanks for watching.